Hey gang, it's Mr. X here. You should have just had an email about coming to the webinar on Monday night, but I just wanted to give you a little sort of advanced content to make sure you get the most out of the webinar. So we're basically going to be going through what this transformation map is going to do, how to fill it in, what it is, that kind of stuff. But I asked you to do the little pre-exercise in the PDF. So there was a couple of questions, but question number one seems to have foxed a few people immediately. So it says in one sentence, what are you selling? And obviously the natural reaction to that is just to say, you know, an info product or, you know, something like that. But that's not obviously what we mean. So let me take you through what we mean. So what are you selling? So what we mean by that is, what does it mean to the buyer? That's really what we mean. So the first thing I want to say is a warning. So a lot of people get confused with the instruction of you know, sell the sizzle, not the steak. But it doesn't mean that we don't include the steak in it. You know, without the steak, the sizzle is ridiculous. Let me give you an example. Feel the explosion as your taste buds erupt at the swarm of flavours gushing in your mouth. Experience the pleasures as the smooth texture melts in your mouth and the extreme pleasure you can bring to your woman. What on earth is that about? Is it a fruit tea? Is it a yogurt? Is it strawberry flavoured condoms? Or is it a breath mint or something else? You know, what is it? Without the steak, the sizzle means nothing. So, if we've spoken before, you know that I've spoken to you about features and benefits and outcomes. Now, most people know about features and benefits, and it's always an issue for a lot of people to even sort that out. And I usually take that further and go from benefits to outcomes, because outcomes is back to what it does for the buyer, which is what I just said to you at the very beginning. But on this webinar, we're going to even take it further and talk about the psychology of the outcomes as well. So this ties into the exercise that I've given you, and that's why I've given you this exercise, so you start to think about it. So this is actually a real world bag of chocolates. It's a bag of sorted chocolates. They're called misshapes because they're not pristine, you know, they're squashed and that kind of stuff. And you know, how would we sell this if we were going to sell this? So if we were doing it on features only, it would be you know, a misshaped bag of chocolates, 250 grams of big value, okay, because it's 250 grams. It's a sorted chocolate, so you know, there's more than one flavour, so there we go. Apparently it's world famous by a brand called Turner's, a British company. I'm British, I've never heard of them. But you know, world famous isn't particularly good. You know, Osama bin Laden is world famous, but it doesn't mean that we want to, you know, buy a bag of chocolates from him. And you know, the best that they can come up with on the bag itself is an assortment of high quality branded misshape chocolates. Okay, not particularly appetizing in any way really, but that's what they've come up with. That's what they actually use. So if we look at you know, features, if we look at benefits, we can say it's much bigger than a bar of chocolate. Okay, because it's 200 grams. Little Mars bar, something's like 100 grams or less or something. Many flavours you will like, and you know, give you variety. Okay, so we're not stuck with one, you know, flavour. If you buy a plain chocolate bar, all you get is plain chocolate. You don't get toffees, you don't get creams, you don't get nuts, you don't get, you know, whatever, strawberry. You don't get anything nougat. You don't get any mixture of stuff. So you know, mixture of flavours, variety is probably good. Big enough bag to share. Okay, again, going back to the size of it, you know, if you buy one Mars bar, you can't really share it with anybody. You know, these are, you know, there's enough individual sweets in there to, you know, to share out or eat yourself. It is branded. We don't know how strong the brand is, but it's branded. and it's in a bag. That's the feature really. So what's the benefit of being in a bag? Well, it's eco-friendly because there's less packaging, and it's cheaper to ship and deliver and to store. So those savings are passed on to you. But it's a combination of of those two. So that's if we were doing benefits. But even then, it's a bit better. But it's not really that exciting still. And then if we go to the outcomes, the sort of layman's impression of the outcome might be yummy, a large-sized treat. Okay, but that's not really an outcome. And another outcome, physically, is cure your chocolate cravings. But that's not really, that's a fact. It's not really an emotional outcome. So basically, the emotional outcomes of this are feel happy. Okay, it does it because it releases, chemicals in your body that make your brain feel happy. But basically nobody cares about that bit. Just feel happy. So obviously we're not going to say feel happy to people because that's a weird thing to say to somebody. But if there's a way of describing that or getting that over in some sort of metaphor, then that's basically what we're trying to say. That if you buy this bag of chocolates, you're going to feel happy. A lot of people buy chocolates for the escapism. It's memories of a happier time, childhood times when we didn't have any worries or bills and all that kind of stuff. That's again what eating chocolates does for us. And we can share with friends, which is good. But the main thing behind that is that means that we have friends, which implies that if we don't have the chocolates, we can't share with friends, which means we don't have friends. Oh dear, better buy some chocolates. Okay, so you see how that works. So there are possible outcomes of of this, not necessarily the best, but the outcomes. So let's look at the psychology of what's going on here now, in terms of what are you selling. So we've got all these subconscious thoughts going on. A lot of it comes from our life programming as a child, and our feelings of association with whatever this item means to us. So it's a bit like the Pavlov dog association, where he would ring the bell every time there was dinner, and the dog would get used to the sound of the bell meaning dinner, and then he would ring the bell when there wasn't dinner, and the dog would still come. Okay, bit cruel, but there we go. That was his experiment. And there was a similar thing. There was a film, I can't remember the name of it, where they were trying to get. It was like the mafia trying to get people off of smoking and drinking and that kind of stuff. It was actually smoking, this one. So they would you would sign your partner up to this stop smoking campaign, and they'd come and kidnap him in the middle of the night and take him to this room and let him smoke cigarettes. But every time he smoked a cigarette, he would get an electric shock. So and they do this several nights in a row, and obviously the intimation was basically after a few nights of this he would learn that he shouldn't smoke because he'll get an electric shock even if he wasn't in this room and kidnapped by the mafia. I can't remember what the point of the film was, but that was that was what happened in the film. And the other psychological feeling of this is that we get a feeling of safety, because when you're a child and you're eating chocolates, you're safe. So it's not in any kind of sort of fighting or fearful environment. It's usually a reward or a treat or something like that, or just being with your family. So it's safety. Sustenance. I mean, it's not food worthy, but it's a pleasurable thing to do. It's eating. It's affluence because you can afford the chocolates. When you want them, you've got them there. And there's this feeling of being a king, in the sense that you own these chocolates and you can share them, or you can eat them, or you can enjoy them, or it's kind of your 2-minute dynasty, and that kind of thing. Now, what it's not is it's not a cure for hunger. It's not a source of nourishment. It provides absolutely no warmth or shelter at all. There's no spiritual connection with God, that comes from eating chocolates, and it doesn't help us procreate in any kind of way, particularly. Although, having said that, there have been advertisements where they have associated chocolate with hunger. So like the Yorkie chocolate bar for truckers, in particular, I think the peanut bar did it as well. But it's about truckers who are big men who are hungry and need a snack on the go. They eat this full chocolate bar. Um, we say it's not associated with nourishment, but it could be. If it's a yogurt bar, they put yogurt in it or something. They can sell it on yogurt. The peanut bar, obviously they think that peanuts are good for us, so they're saying it's a source of protein as well. But really it's a chocolate bar with peanuts in it, or peanut bar with chocolate in it. I'm not sure which quite way it is with that one. Incredible amount of nuts. Anyway, warmth, I can't come up with anything. Spiritual, I'm sure we could create some connection with God. So certainly, dream life. The woman on the beach, eating the flake chocolate bar crumbling all over a semi-naked body. That's kind of on the way to spiritual. And sex, obviously, there is connotations to that because it could involve beautiful women or women enjoying themselves, and there's the whole thing of the Cadbury's milk tray advert where the guy jumps off the cliff and swims to his lover on a boat to leave her a box of chocolates. It's supposed to be a sign of love. So there's the sort of sex relationship connection there. So we can we can link these things with anything, but that's really part of the job of the psychology. They're kind of examples of the psychology that people have used to sell chocolates. But normally they don't do that. So why do we eat chocolates if it doesn't actually provide any of these actual things? Well, it's because of these subconscious feelings of association that basically make us feel happy. Okay, and so naturally you can imagine now when you ask somebody to give up chocolates to go on a diet, what you're really asking them to do is to give up all of their childhood memories of everything that's good and enjoyable about eating chocolates when you're a kid, and all the the things that we spoke about in the other slide of feeling like a king and all this sort of stuff. Actually, it's this slide. So it's not just a bag of chocolates or a box of chocolates or a chocolate bar. It's all of these, and they're not even just emotions. It's really it's all this psychology that goes behind that and gives us all these associations and expectations of what it's like. The expectation of eating a chocolate is probably more than actually eating it, but we kind of accept the the outcome from eating chocolate because we like the anticipation as well. So the story that we paint with our copy and our opt-in imagery and what we're promising on the opt-in page and the landing page and all that sort of stuff, this is all to do with the story we paint, and the story we paint is really this psychology thing going on here. It's certainly not features, and benefits don't really go far enough, and even outcome isn't really far enough. So really it's about the psychology of what's going on and making people have these feelings, giving them escapism. Again, comes to the childhood memories when we feel safe, happy, loved and protected, being part of the family, and whatever situation we're in, we can get that kind of feeling back for a few seconds with the escapism of eating chocolate. In the our adulthood version of it, sorry about the spelling there, again, we're the provider of this, possibly to our children or to our partner or whatever, and we're able to make them feel safe, happy, loved, protected, and it shows our affluence by being able to provide these things. There's also the kind of elitism of that, we deserve these little luxuries. It's one of the few things that we think that we can control often. So we think that we should be able to have these, and there's just the king feeling of ownership and control and being able to share all of that because you've bought them, and ultimately it's really just a chemical reaction, and it's something that just triggers our emotional memory, but that doesn't sound quite as good as sales copy. Buy this chemical reaction and trigger back your emotional memories. Not we're going to effectively do that, but that's not the way we're going to describe it, obviously. But the copy and the opt-in imagery and the story we paint is basically, providing all of this escapism, adulthood, and these feelings of safety, happiness, being loved, being protected, and being affluent, and that kind of king feeling, and having a bit of luxury, and taking control of our lives. So crikey, it's a bag of chocolates, but wow, it does all that, and that's really the point. If we just go in and say it's a bag of chocolates, people go whoop. But if they do react, it's because they're having these feelings themselves. If we can make it, help to help to inspire or trigger those emotions more, then our sales copy is going to be a lot more productive. Okay, so it's all about the story we paint, and we're in complete control of that as marketers. Okay, so when they say, all they can come up with is an assortment of high quality branded misshaped chocolates, it's pretty lame, and really, what it could say to us subconsciously is it's a mess of crappy rejects, heart attacks in a cheap tacky bag. Okay, and this sticker could even be printed, on the thing, not even a sticker, to make it extra cheap and tacky. Okay, so we can look at it in, we can frame it differently. If I say that in the advert, then we're going to think, oh no, shouldn't do that. Maybe we do that if we're selling a yogurt bar, or a seed bar or something, sesame seed biscuit, whatever they're called. It means that basically these aren't Valentine's Day or mistress material. If you come in and go, hey darling, I bought you this bag of, assorted, cheap, tacky chocolates, not, the same impact as the box of luxurious, but probably overpriced, luxury sweets, which were, perfectly presented in a box, and probably more money spent on the box than on the chocolates. So, again, it's the framing. If they could change this to be, other than what they've done at the moment, and that's just a bag of chocolates. Okay, so when we apply it to something, more money, then obviously it's going to become more and more important. Anyway, so that was just a preamble for the webinar. The webinar's on Monday, 2030 New York time. I'm saying New York time now rather than EST or EDT, because EST and EDT just gets too confusing because we don't know which one we're in. But I thought New York time is whatever New York time is, so I'm sticking to New York time now. So I hope to see you on the webinar, and this isn't what we're covering. This is just a preamble, just to try and help you get more value out of the event, but I just wanted to help you to answer that question in your own mind. What are you selling? So when you go back to answer that, I want you to think about what we've mentioned in this little preamble video. Okay, all right, so Mr. X signing out. I will see you on the webinar. Bye for now.